Welcome into another edition of the Old North State Sports Show, folks. It never ceases to amaze me. I sit here and I think, well, I'll probably do 1 to 2 episodes this week. I've got a backlog of content that I can get through. And then stories pop, news breaks, and it's that time for me to sit down and create an episode just for you guys. And we're here today, of course, to talk about Myles Garrett. And I'm going to let you know if this is realistic for Carolina Panthers fans to think if this is going to be possible. And before we get into the weeds, we are going to look at Myles Garrett, at the statement that he made, at his stats, at his salary cap number. And then we're going to also analyze past trades of the Carolina Panthers. And are the Panthers usually in on these type of deals? And honestly, no, they're really not. But this is the moment. It's so funny. And I said this on X. You go out, you hear this news, every fan base is in their own bubble to where they think whoever the player is, surely it has to be on my team's radar. Surely it has to be on the Carolina Panthers' radar. And yes, it is a big position of need. I think the Panthers should consider it, but I don't think it's something that the Panthers are going to be able to pull off. I love it. You look at the fact that he says he wants to go to a Super Bowl contending team, which we'll get into. And I hate to break it to you, I just don't think the Panthers are getting him there next year. Now, we'll see maybe in years down the road. We're not here to make those bold predictions and claims just yet, but we are here to talk about Myles Garrett. So that's exactly what we are going to do today. Now, hey, Myles Garrett is a fantastic football player. Like, to be honest, who would not want Myles Garrett? Like, let's all be real. Salary cap aside, you look at his production as a football player. Who doesn't want this? So going back, he's got 102 career sacks, 14 this past season, 14 the year before, 16. I'm not going to read it all. This dude is a monster. He's a heck of a football player, and he's going to make any defense better. They can obtain him. And now Carolina Panthers need a lot of help on the defensive side of the ball. But again, I just don't know that the Panthers are going to be the team that gets him. Look at his salary cap situation. So 2 more years left on his contract. He's got $19 million cap hit for 2025. Like, let's be real. $19 million, that's not a lot of money compared to what some top end edge players are going to get in the NFL. So for me, yeah, 19, let's do it. Even next year into 20 million. Like $20 million is not a bad number. I think the only downside, and it's hard to call it a downside, but the only thing that kind of worries me is the age. So he's 30, going on 31. It's not a big concern if we're being honest, but you're looking at a 2 to 3 year runway of hopefully high production that you can get out of him. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like, if we're being honest, I don't think there's anything wrong with using these next few years. Now, for the Carolina Panthers' sake, is there a possibility that they could lure him in with an extension, with more money? That's always possible. Like, as much as he wants to say he wants to go to play for a contender, we will see. Now, let's go in. Let's look at the statement. Adam Schefter posted this. This is Myles Garrett. This is what he says in his words, which is why I think the Panthers may be out of the running, but let's go ahead. As a kid dreaming of the NFL, all I focused on was the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl, and that goal fuels me today more than ever. My love for the community of Northeast Ohio and the incredible fan base of the Cleveland Browns has made this one of the toughest decisions of my life. These past 8 years have shaped me into the man that I am today. While I've loved calling this city my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stages won't allow me to be complacent. The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. It has always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl. With that in mind, I have requested to be traded from the Cleveland Browns, Myles Garrett. There you go, folks. Directly from him. So, as a Panthers fan, do you honestly believe the Carolina Panthers are a Super Bowl contender? Be real with yourself. That's all I'm saying. Yes, it sounds great on paper. Yes, we want to be in the sweepstakes. we want it to Dan Morgan to make this call, but I don't know. I just don't know that the Panthers are going to be able to get in this thing and really take a shot. And the bigger question that I did not lay out is, what are you giving up? That's the toughest part, and we're going to look at trades past for the Carolina Panthers, but what are you giving up to get him? I mean, you're likely, from what we saw, you're talking maybe a 1, a 2, a 3, multiple ones, a second. I mean, whatever the Brian's Burn package was for the Rams a few years ago, the 2 1s and the 2, whatever it is going to be something close to that or more, is what it feels like. Are you giving up a player in return? The Panthers are just getting out of the shadows of the Bryce Young trade. Finally, it's behind them. They don't have to worry about that anymore. This is the final year. Chicago has their second-round pick. After this, it's over. Let's stay put where we are on the drawing board. But I know there's some fans that are going to raise their hand and say, could you draft a better player with the 8th overall pick, with the second-round pick at 57? Maybe not with a future round pick. I just don't know that the Carolina Panthers are going to want to mortgage that future. And part of it is the reason on their draft history, which we're here to break down because that's what we do. So let's go ahead and break it down. Another reason why I'm not as sold on the Panthers being involved in this is you look at the past, and I don't know that you can really tell me there's been a superstar trade into Carolina, a superstar level caliber player. There's been a lot leaving. Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, those guys are out, but there really hasn't been a big name in. Now, they've made some good trades along the way. They've went at it. They thought Sam Darnold. They thought Baker Mayfield. They got Stephon Gilmore. They thought these things would play out, but no, it's not the same. So anyways, let's go back to 24. Very recent in memory, Dante Jackson for Deontay Johnson and Michael Barrett for Mike Jackson. That was it. That was really like the bigger trades that came through involving players. In 2023, it was really one. It was a conditional pick, a 7th-round pick for Amir Smith-Marset to the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. So, this is why when I say, do you really think the Panthers are here? And now, again, we're excluding draft pick trades. So we're really focused on a player coming in or a player going out, and significant. I'm not trying to get too far into the weeds on some of these. We want to hit on the big ones for the Carolina Panthers. 2022 was a pretty big year. No doubt about it. Baker Mayfield comes in for a 5th to Cleveland, a 7th and a 6th for Laviska Shenault and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, of course, we traded away Christian McCaffrey and Robbie Chosen Anderson. I believe that's what he goes by. I don't know. I can't keep up with his name changes. That was a significant year. And some fans probably still feel like maybe the Laviska trade was good. I don't know. We can all agree that CMC being out of here, it just stinks. But we're not here to harp on that. We're here to just look through history. 2021 was a busy year for the Carolina Panthers. They made a lot of trades. Scott Fitter got busy. The trade for Sam Darnold, a 6-2 and a 4. Trading away Teddy Bridgewater to the Broncos. Greg Little to the Dolphins. Denzel Perryman to the Raiders. Dan Arnold in a 3rd for C.J. Henderson and a 5th with Jacksonville again. And then a 6th for Stephon Gilmore. Now, hats off to the Stephon Gilmore trade. I feel like that was a really good acquisition. No doubt about it. C.J. Henderson just was a flop. It didn't work out. It is what it is. You move on and you learn. One of the busier years, because when we go back to 2020, not so much. Trey Turner for Russell Okung. We traded Kyle Allen to Washington and Andre Smith to the Buffalo Bills for a conditional pick. A bunch of small names, folks. Not a lot of big names coming into the Carolina Panthers. 2019, no significant trade involving a player coming in or out. That was I don't know what was going on in 2019, but the roster was what it was. And we're going back to the Tepper years because this is really it. We're trying to understand, what has it been like under David Tepper's ownership? You then have Darryl Worley for Torrey Smith in 18, Corey Robinson sent to the Lions, and a 7th rounder to the Bills for Marshall Newhouse. Short summary of this, Number one, Myles Garrett, fantastic football player. Myles Garrett wants to go to a Super Bowl contender. Are the Carolina Panthers a Super Bowl contender right now? No. I mean, if you're going through your list, your only hope, there's a way to offer money. You go out and look, Commanders, Bills, like those names, 49ers maybe, if they can make a comeback, that's going to pop up. But I don't think the Carolina Panthers are in the running. Could they afford him? Yes, but what do they have to get up in exchange? That's the other thing. And if history has shown us anything, yeah, the Panthers have been aggressive when it comes to a quarterback in the David Tepper era, but he's found his quarterback. I don't know that they're going to be as aggressive with this, especially considering they may look to trade for Garrett Wilson. So anyways, folks, that is going to do it for today's episode. As always, appreciate y'all tuning in. This is the one and only Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.